started with a sound, not a scream, not a growl, a click, subtle, precise, like a lock turning in the middle of nowhere. Evelyn Reed froze. She was deep in Marrow Forest, at least 3 miles from the last marker, standing beneath a canopy so thick the light was already struggling to find her, though it was only early afternoon. Her hand tightened around her camera. The sound hadn't come from any animal, it was mechanical and deliberate. She scanned the undergrowth, slow and practiced. There was no wind, no birdsong, even the insects were silent. Evelyn had been in enough wild places to know when something was off. This place wasn't just quiet, it was waiting. She pushed through a patch of fern and saw it. A door. It was half buried beneath a collapsed tree, its frame warped by time, but unmistakable. 7 feet tall, wood black with rot but solid, nestled into a stone wall that shouldn't have existed. There was no cliff here, no structure nearby, just forest and this impossibility. A door built into the earth like it had grown from it. There were no hinges, no seams, just a black iron ring set in the center and strange symbols carved into the frame. The marks looked old, ancient, even, but not worn. They were sharp, etched deeply, almost pulsing as the shadows shifted. Evelyn stepped closer. Her breath fogged slightly. The air around the door was colder, not forest cool. It was the chill of stone crypts, of places forgotten by light. She circled the structure, pressing her hand to the stone beside it. It was real. She felt the grain, the moisture. Her heart pounded with a thrill she hadn't felt in years. This was why she did what she did, to find the hidden, the strange. The untouched. She raised her camera and took 3 shots. Then she reached for the iron ring. Her fingers wrapped around it, cold bit into her skin like needles. She pulled. The door opened. It didn't creak or groan. It sighed like something exhaling after being held in for centuries. A smell poured out. Mold, iron, something older. There was no dust, no cobwebs, just darkness and a stone staircase that curved downward, disappearing into the earth. She hesitated only a moment before stepping through. As soon as she crossed the threshold, the door slammed shut behind her. She whirled around. The door was gone. In its place, solid stone, seamless, no handle, no way back. She was sealed in. Panic flared, sharp and real. But Evelyn Reed was not a woman who broke easily. She'd survived jungle collapses, sub-zero blizzards, even a stalker fan in Argentina. She took a deep breath. There had to be another way out. She clicked on her flashlight and descended. The stairs were carved straight into the rock. No torches, no signs of recent passage, yet they weren't worn or eroded. They looked untouched, preserved, as if they'd been waiting for her. After what felt like 200 steps, she heard it. A whisper. She stopped. The sound was faint, like breath against skin. She turned off her light, listened. More whispers, echoes, not voices, shapes of words without substance. Then her name. Evelyn, her stomach clenched. No one knew she was here, no one alive. She descended faster. The stairs opened into a chamber the size of a small cathedral. Massive stone walls arched overhead. Torches lined the space, lit with a blue flame that emitted no heat. At the center of the room stood a stone table, and on it, a mirror, circular, framed in black stone etched with the same runes as the door. She approached slowly. Her flashlight flickered. The air around the mirror felt thick, electric. When she looked into the glass, her breath caught. She saw the forest, not as it had been, but twisted. The trees were blackened, skeletal. The sky was ink. A version of her, identical, even in her clothing, was wandering aimlessly in circles, unable to find the door. She blinked. The image changed. Now it showed her cabin, the one she'd rented outside the forest. She was in bed, asleep. But something was off. Her face was pale, her eyes open, unblinking, frozen. The whispers in the chamber grew louder. They circled her like wind, whispering in voices layered on top of each other. She's not you, you're not you anymore. Run. Her legs moved before her brain caught up. She bolted out of the chamber through the only exit she could find, a narrow tunnel sloping deeper into the earth. The darkness closed in behind her like a living thing. The walls changed. No longer stone, but something else, flesh-like, pulsing gently as if breathing. The whispers never stopped. Her flashlight began to dim. In its fading glow, she passed more mirrors embedded in the walls. Each one showed her, but not her. One version wore a hospital gown, crying black tears. Another stood ankle-deep in ash, hair falling out. One sat in a nursery cradling nothing, singing lullabies in a voice that wasn't hers. She couldn't look anymore. She ran until she stumbled into a circular chamber filled with a red, throbbing light. At the center was a dais. On it, a massive leather-bound book. The pages flipped on their own as she approached. One page stopped mid-turn. Her name was written on it, Evelyn. The book turned pages faster. Images flickered in charcoal, her birth, her childhood, her first love. Then something wrong, a figure collapsing in the snow, her body in a morgue, her face in a coffin, her first death. She staggered back. Her mind screamed that none of it was real, but her bones remembered. The place had taken something from her, memories, lives, versions. Every time she had come here, because she had come here, again and again, she remembered now. Each time the door was different, hidden in a rainforest, a desert, a ruined city, but always there. And each time she walked through, and each time it took part of her, sometimes it sent her back, sometimes it didn't. And sometimes what came back wasn't really her. She ran again, deeper, until she came to a final chamber, featureless, black, hollow, a void. Floating in the center was a single iron key. She reached for it. The moment her fingers touched the cold metal, the truth burned through her like fire. The door was not a relic. It was a machine, older than human time, a device that rewrote reality. It harvested memory, identity, self. It scrubbed the soul and fed on the residue. She had never escaped. She had only been replicated. Above ground, in the cabin she'd rented, Evelyn Reed was already back. Smiling, sleeping, empty-eyed, that version would walk the world. A husk with all her habits but none of her soul. And here, deep below, the original remained, half real, half erased, part of the machine. Screaming. Weeks later, locals reported that Evelyn Reed had returned from Marrow Forest. She was found wandering barefoot along Route 18, mumbling in broken sentences, whispering names no one knew. She couldn't remember where she'd been. But every night in the care facility where she now lived, she drew doors on the walls. On paper, on her arms, and she never slept. The nurses began hearing whispers in the halls, just one word, click. And when they came running, they always found her standing in the corner, smiling, and whispering, "I wasn't the one who came back."